Getting a Jeep Compass for city use is a waste of the compass and its hefty price tag. To really unlock the beauty of the compass, you have to do one thing: get out. The compass seems like a slick and city-friendly machine, but it walks a slightly different talk. In the narrow lanes of the city, it feels a bit trapped. Its diesel engine grumbles, but you'll dismiss all those things when you hit the highway. Be it smooth or broken, the compass feels magnificent then. Which makes me wonder, why aren't more people raving about the compass? We did rave about the compass when it was launched, which was 7 years ago. 7 years. Back then, there were queues outside of Jeep showrooms. There were fights inside the showrooms. And there were smug faces inside the compass as people drove out with their Jeep. There was nothing as stylish and as premium as the compass back then. But today, the compass is surrounded by SUVs. The Seltos, for instance, is more stylish than it, but smaller than it. On the other hand, there is the XUV, the Safari, the Harrier, which are bigger than the compass and offer the same promise of ruggedness. The compass has its rugged quotient, the Jeep DNA in the squared-off wheel arches, the 7-slot grille helps it stand out. But there are the hidden bits too. I'm not talking about the Easter eggs. It's the build quality. But the compass's combination of ruggedness and slickness is not so unique today. The cabin experience is unique. The stylishness, the quality, and premiumness is higher than anything else in this price range. It wasn't always like this. The facelift brought in the new design for the dash, the richer materials, and those sharp screens, all of which wouldn't look out of place in a luxury car. The compass, though, hasn't forgotten its tough roots. The rubber mats look like they're waiting for the day when somebody steps into the cabin in sopping wet boots. The compass also hopes that the compass in the instrument cluster will be used by somebody someday. The display for the driver's instrument cluster is sharp and cool. You can customize the layouts in different ways. You can choose to look at minimal information or a lot of information without it feeling cluttered. It actually feels a bit geeky. It even shows you gearbox oil temperature if you want. It has other quirky bits. Instead of paddle shifters behind the steering wheel, there are buttons for audio playback or volume control. This top-spec compass has all the comfort and convenience features that you would expect from a car that costs over 30 lakh rupees. The compass is dead serious about travel. The cushioning for the seats isn't plush. It's taut, and the seats are shaped beautifully to keep you comfortable for many hours. You can also fine-tune the seating position by adjusting the seat base angle, the lumbar electrically to max out the comfort. The back seat is also welcoming. There's enough knee room and headroom. The seriousness becomes apparent here because of the firm cushioning and the upright seat back angle. This isn't a car for you to lounge around in. It's clearly to travel in. As a family car, the Compass won't be as good as the bigger SUVs or the smaller SUVs. 6-footers will complain about legroom because you can't push your feet under the front seats. For 3 in the back, this cabin will feel narrow. It also misses out on basic creature comforts like sunshades for the rear windows, and yes, there is no seat back recline adjustment. The boot, on paper, is a bit larger than a Kia Seltos. In practice, you realize it's a bit taller as well, which increases the flexibility for packing luggage. The Compass doesn't feel flexible or at home in the city. It's a bit like wearing trekking shoes for your morning run. Awkward and a bit clumsy. The steering at low speeds is light, but making U-turns or wriggling into parking spots requires patience and planning. Its turning radius is large. Its suspension is not plush. So at low speeds you will feel the potholes and the bumps. Its engine isn't refined. You hear its rumble and its vibrations at low speeds clearly. It makes it feel tiring. At red lights, when you're stopped, the engine cuts off and then comes back on. That can startle you. Thankfully, to drive, it's easy enough. Its 9-speed automatic gearbox sounds impressive, but it feels ordinary. The Compass diesel automatic's fuel efficiency in the city isn't ordinary. 8 to 9 kmpl. On more flowing roads, it'll go up to 12 kmpl. So when you're driving in the city, at times you might wonder, why did you buy the Compass? Most Compass owners will know the answer, and I hope that you do discover it. It will hit you right between the eyes on the highway. This Compass's internal compass points to the open road and to broken roads. Its suspension at speeds lets you hit bumps that would give other SUVs an identity crisis. But it only highlights this Jeep's SUV DNA. It's not just planted around corners, it's agile. That chassis with the independent rear suspension is a win. That's despite the lack of feel from that chunky steering wheel and the crybaby Bridgestones, which get noisy in corners and don't give a great sense of confidence. The diesel engine is no baby. On the highway, it feels like a big boy. The way it masks speed, which means at 120, you'll think you're doing 90. It feels effortless and casual. At 100 kilometers an hour, it's spinning at 1600 RPM in 9th gear. It's quiet and smooth. The fuel efficiency also improves to an acceptable 16 to 18 kmpl. There's greater satisfaction in driving. The diesel torque just pulls you forward. The 9-speed automatic gearbox jumps in only when you push down hard for acceleration. And when you do, the diesel rumble will become obvious. On the upside, it does mask some of the sounds inside the cabin, like the plastic rattles. This cabin should have been better insulated. If the cabin was quieter, highway trips in the Compass would have doubled up as meditation sessions. The mood will be zen-like when you go rough-roading with a Compass. Its ability there is solid, as is its ground clearance. The only catch, not just for rough-roading, but even for malls, is that little flap under the front bumper. It scrapes going up ramps or over speed breakers. For rough roaders though, there is the 4x4 option and the option of an automatic with it. The best bit though is it gets a more aggressive shape for the front bumper. Irrespective of which Compass you choose, the solidity will be impressive. Its chassis is known to be robust and safe. The Compass packs in ESP, traction control, hill hold, and reversing camera as standard. 6 airbags are available on the higher variants. Strangely though, tire pressure monitoring system and a 360-degree camera are limited to this top spec S variant. And no, ADAS is not available. I myself am surprised by how happy I felt after driving the Compass. A 7-year-old car. It is strange, but rediscovering the Compass has been satisfying. Over the years, it has evolved slowly to stay relevant. The cabin experience has become richer. The convenience of automatic transmissions has helped. But the world around the Compass has transformed. It's no longer the only premium option, the only rugged option. It isn't the most city-friendly option by miles. But by miles, it is more expensive. In the American market, the difference between the Compass and the Kia Seltos is about 3 lakh rupees. Those cars have different engine options, and the Seltos there is bigger and presumably sturdier. But in India, even if the price difference was 5 to 6 lakh rupees and the Compass was priced alongside the Harrier, it would feel so tempting. Instead, this diesel automatic in the top spec guys costs about 10-11 lakh rupees more than the Seltos and 5 to 6 lakh rupees more than the Harrier, with which it shares its engine. So the Compass isn't great for the city. It is pricey. And there are concerns about its after-sales service. If you are a Compass owner, we'd love to hear your experience. If you're planning to become a Compass owner, I get it. The only piece of advice is get to know the Compass and get out.